You know, one thing I really ought to do is put the actual live chat onto the stream starting soon screen. Let me do that real quick. What source is that? Browser. There we go. Yo, what up? Yo, what up? Yo, what up? Yo, what up? It's been a while. Kind of a long while, but I finally have the opportunity to stream. I have tweaked my microphone a little bit, so if I sound like really quiet, I'm sorry. I can maybe try and add some gain to it or something, but ideally it should sound a little bit better. I don't know. I haven't really tested it all that much too, other than like over Discord. So, but Discord probably has their own little auto gain stuff. But anyways, I'm here now, and it's like almost the end of October. I don't have a new spooky outfit, unfortunately. I was gonna do Shaggy. I was gonna make Shaggy from Scooby-Doo as the alt outfit, but I mean, I could throw in the Shiggy Diggy for a little bit, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel the same. Doesn't feel the same to reuse it necessarily, so. But I did think about it. I did think about throwing together a Shaggy outfit, but considering like I don't know how frequently I'm gonna actually be able to stream during the month of October. I don't know if it's a good idea to spend all the time doing that. So anyways, the plan today is probably finishing out the item menu. which you notice there's like a little preview there in the bottom right. I can actually, let me where is my, not that one. There we go. I'll make it big real quick and kind of go through what I've got with it. Let me move it to my main screen here. So, as you all have probably seen from teaser pings in the Discord, there's like new item menu. Important. So, the main idea behind it was I needed to isolate inventories between players, because there is definitely going to be scenarios where you're going to need to access the inventory, but having one singular global inventory just won't work. For example, the intermission segments in Demo 5 will actually have you doing some battles as Hector and Autumn, and it would kind of suck for them to not be able to use any items or even access the pause menu or whatever, and also just kind of problematic. So they needed their own inventories, right? There'll also be a scenario in Chapter 3 where main character and Yui get split apart a little bit, and like, now granted, you will have the opportunity to like swap items between the two of them, but they will get split up, and it wouldn't make sense for like one of them to have all of them. So I needed separate inventories, was the main driving thing behind this whole rework. On top of that, I did like optimize like every single bit of the item code under the hood, and it was quite literally like 4 to 5 times faster, but that's besides the point. Basically, this item menu needed to have a bit more things going on for it. So you'll notice that we have like counters for how much an item can stack. Like peanut butter crackers can stack up to 24. They don't heal that much unless the character locks them, and then they heal a little bit extra. HP soda and AP soda stack up to 12 because, you know, 12 pack. But also, welcome into the stream, everyone. Squid Vixen, aka Science Yoshi. I see the rebrand. Welcome in. Vexility, Pico Flower, and Sinum. What is up, everyone? I'm not ignoring chat, trust, but this new item menu needed a lot more stuff going on to it. It needed a proper display for if characters liked or disliked an item. So if I actually go here, like, let's take this coffee and move it to main character's inventory here. We'll replace this slushy, right? Go back over here. Main character doesn't really like coffee. Never really was a fan of coffee. It's either way too sweet or way too bitter. But he does, however, like a good milkshake. It's one of his favorites. And you can see that on the right there, like the HP display changes. So you have a base HP, which is what it will heal for anyone else, and then the actual HP and AP adjusts based on if they like or dislike. So the coffee heals 50% less AP compared to the milkshake, which is going to give you about, what is that, like 20% extra? I can look at the exact value real quick, actually. Let me get item multiplier, because I changed them around. Yeah, a good item, an item that is liked, by default will give a character a 25% increase of stats. Unless you're Yui, and then it's 33%, because and the lore behind that is just she can absorb the energy better because she's an angel. I don't know. If they don't like it, though, it's a 50% decrease, because this is also going to be my passive way of nerfing certain overpowered item strategies. If it's a item that would only be good on a robotic character, so if it would only be good on Kaguya, it's going to be negative. It's going to heal negative points. It's going to damage you. Unless it's for Kaguya, and then it's going to do double. So something that heals 50 HP would damage 50 HP on a human or angel, I guess. Or maybe it'll just neutral out on you. You haven't really decided yet. But it would do 100 HP for Kaguya. And then if Autumn doesn't like an item, it's what would this be? It's like it's a 0.33 multiplier, so it's kind of troll. but you're gonna heal that much less. So if I actually go into hers, let me go into her inventory here. What does she dislike? She dislikes protein powder, but on its own, like most characters are gonna dislike protein powder on its own because it's an ingredient. But you can see she only heals 7 HP, but if I go to use it on main character, he's gonna heal 10 HP. But like for the others that are indifferent to it currently, like it's 20 HP base unless they dislike it or if they like it or whatever. So I needed a good way to display that. I also needed an option to trash items if you didn't want them instead of just having to use the item. So like here I have this big top banquet. If I go to trash it, it's like, oh, throw this item away? Yeah, toss it. And now it's gone. And we don't have to use it if we don't want to. Which it's kind of a minor thing, but it skips a few menus, which I think people like. But yeah, there's a lot of things I needed to do. I actually finished the code for moving items just earlier today. So like when I go to move an item between inventories, you can move it around in your own inventory as well. So like now the milkshake's down there. But you can also you can move it to another characters, you can swap it over slots, you can take items that normally stack and you can move them to empty slots and put however many and have 2 slots for whatever reason if you wanted to fill your item inventory out. So yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Miitopia food system. I have not played Miitopia in a long time. I didn't end up playing the Switch remake, but I did play it on 3DS. Could MC and Hector get something special about items like everyone else has? Something special as in like a multiplier to the items, like how Yui heals a little bit more, and stuff like that. Is that what you mean? And yes, they are all at 1 HP. I was doing that for testing to make sure that using items actually worked properly and the display worked. Because if I take the crackers here, you can kind of see, like, it's kind of hard to tell, but if you look at like the HP, since Autumn or actually let me grab something that they yeah, cheese pizza is a good example. So this one is a heal all item. This is another thing I can show off. When you use an item that heals all, it just skips the character selection process and will show what it's going to heal for each character over on the right. So you can see if you look at the spacing between the little white fill bar for Autumn and main character, because they both have the same HP stat right now. You can see Autumn's going to heal more. It matches up with the stat. That's what I was testing. That's why I needed them all at 1 HP. Something special about the items, like how they have unique ones. I'm not really sure what I would do for them necessarily. Actually, Hector does have one. Main character is neutral to him. Like, he'll have like the default where if he likes something, it heals just a little bit more. If he dislikes, it heals a little bit less. But for Hector, if there's something he doesn't like, he will actually... his multiplier for disliked items is 0.65 instead of 0.5. Because the lore for that is that Hector eats for nutrients anyways, not for taste. He's just a goat. So, let me look in his stats here. What is something that Hector does not like? Hector does not like breadsticks. Let me give him some breadsticks real quick. Hold up. Add item ID dot breadsticks. Let's give him breadsticks, and I will give him something he does like, which is what is the other thing there? What is that called? Kingdom slush. He does like Hector likes slushies. He's a big fan of slushies, so that's saved. There we go. So yeah, not a fan of the garlic, honestly. I prefer keeping my breath fresh. And then for the slush here, it's like, I really like slushies. I don't like the potential brain freeze though, because he's kind of flat with his expression, I guess. But if we go and use the breadsticks, you can see that it heals 10 AP for him and 15 for everyone else. Unless I have this like input wrong in the code, because that doesn't feel right. Let me look real quick. Item multiplier. No, that's right. That is correct. But it does like round up always whenever the value is changed. That way you don't ever like have an item that somehow is less than 1 HP and it rounds down to 0, because that would just suck. But it does always round up. You're always going to heal at least 1 point from something that heals. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it currently. Key items show up properly with its flavor text and everything. Of course, these items inventories aren't size limited, even though I doubt you're ever going to have more than 10 key items. So this is mostly just here to see and like kind of look through, because different characters will have different key items. Like I haven't set the inventory to anything specific just yet, but like in the new opening for the game, main character and Yui will get a keyboard and a microphone. So that will be in their individual inventories when they get a hold of that. And then the equipment menu. This is what I'm going to be working on today, now that I got everything else out of the way. So it's mostly done as far as displaying stuff goes. So you have on here, over here on the left, you have like your items, and then the column in the middle shows the stat buff that it'll give you, or nerf, I guess, stat buff or nerf. And where it says doesn't do anything special, that's if it has a unique function. So like we go over to the Glutton of Shorts, restore 5 HP every round, with a round being like when the turn queue resets, basically, right? I have taken the time to go through and like change up some of the equipment buffs. So some of these will be a little bit different, like a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse. One thing I really wanted to do was nerf the secret boss items. So like the Temperance Sash was just like +5 on everything, and that was like, that's fine. I like that. That's an okay item, but it's got a function now where, and I think what it actually did before is it would just heal 5 HP and AP each round, but now it's kind of like a strategic item where after each round it's going to take the average of your HP and AP and balance them out. So you kind of have to like play it a little bit strangely, I guess, if you want the stat buff. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this, honestly, because it could be a little bit terrible in practice. I haven't actually tested it yet, but I thought the idea was really cool, and I want to play around with like, okay, it's temperance, it's balance, right? You want to keep everything balanced, right? I thought about maybe having it like somehow balance out all of your stats, but that would also be kind of lame. It's kind of the same for Yui with the patient Pinafore, where, oh, you're patient, so you always attack last, right? You just wait, you let everyone else do their thing. You attack last because you're patient. So like, I want to kind of play around with that kind of gimmick with each of the secret boss items when they come about. And I've also buffed a few, like the Hypogeus Halo. Instead of it just healing 15, it's going to heal HP and AP exponentially each round. So round 1 it'll heal 1, round 2 it'll heal 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, and so on. Like, it's just going to heal a lot over time, kind of like the VR battery for Hector does. And I also changed Kaguya's solar panel to do the same thing, where it heals exponentially, because I like that gimmick. And on top of that, because I was in the process of redoing the item menu and everything, I went ahead and like added like extra functionality to equipables. So instead of it being like a flat increase, there can be equipables that will factor in other things, like maybe if you're being a good Christian boy, or if you are being evil and hateful. Retro flower. Yeah, this 8-bit flower still serves pixel art the old-fashioned way. Those who know. But Gear is able to take into account other factors now and change, like factor that into your HP, AP, attack, defense, speed, moxie, whatever. So you could theoretically have a piece of gear that will take your base HP, like before any equipables, and like the increase is double your base HP, or maybe the increase is based on how high your Moxie is, or how many of a certain item you have, like the Mush Badge from from Superstar Saga. Like, oh, you wanna actually be an HP Soda brand ambassador? Fill your inventory with HP Soda, and for each HP Soda will increase your attack and Moxie by 1 point. That'll be totally balanced. 96-year-old Hector still serves his clone conundrum the old-fashioned way. Oh, I love the bit. I love that bit. Okay, enough running my mouth and like going over like what I intend on doing. It's actually time to start the doing, I think, which means I'm going to go onto Foobar here, shuffle my tracks, and actually go to the stream playlist now instead of having it on total repeat like it has been. So let's get into it. Let me flip-flop these things around here. Oh, hello. Why did you shrink? I guess this needs to be full screen then. That's fine, whatever. I'll just minimize it. So, this display is done. What I do need to fix up, though, is actually equipping something. This menu, because obviously, this is not correct. This is what needs to be changed for right now, and I need to implement the logic for actually equipping an item. So, that's what I'm going to do now. So, ideally, if this works the way I want it to work, any changes I make inside of Game Maker should be reflected in the little preview window down there. So that's what I'm going to do now. And I gotta remember what this thing is. It's equip item, I think is the name of the state. Which means, why is this one all the way down here? Okay. I have to actually reference code because it's like so spaghetti now. Like, you wouldn't believe how much work has to actually go into these menus, because like I wanted everything to be modular and kind of flow between each other. So things just kind of get enabled and disabled based on movement parameters. Like if they're on screen, they're shown or whatever. So some things get reused, and that leads to like what you see there in the preview where it's like, oh, use on everyone. So this needs to be kind of like that, I think. Oh yeah, it does. It does update. I can see it down there on the stream preview. Cool, cool, cool. So make that about 300. Yeah. And I'll actually just copy this from this one, I think. Maybe not. Where's that cursor code here? Hold on, am I like actually forgetting to do something there? What state is that in? Move here. Oh, the cursor doesn't show up. Ah. Maybe I should do that. Makes sense. Makes sense. Where is... It's this one. Or maybe it's not that one. It is, this. Right here. Equip item. Equip item. Can't find the code if it doesn't exist. True. True. Go and move here and slap it in there. Does it show up now? Yeah, I bet it's offset. You'd be like 96. Maybe a little bit less. We'll do 48. There we go. And go down a little bit. There we go. Okay, nice. That's in check. Equip, and then go back to this. And I don't have some parameters set here. Equip item. I only need to move 1 or 2 spots. And you need to go down as well to about 270. And I'll move you in to about 300, I guess. 340. That's a little bit closer. These 2 strings of text are variable in what they will actually show. So if I go in let me go to a menu where I actually have the code inputted properly. So like movement code shows up differently. Oh, move them. No, go back. But if I'm Yui and I'm moving something, and then it's like, oh, move the items. No, return. Or if I'm Autumn and I'm moving something, then it's like, give the items. Or, I changed my mind. Or if I'm Kaguya and doing something, it goes so retro. So, I really like putting the flavor text in. Flavor text is always cool. So all of those menus have flavor text. So, like this one will have some equipable flavor text that I believe I already have put in here. Let's see. New items, don't equip items. I have this specific state. I didn't name this state very well because I was LOL. Do that. And now, yeah, it should put us in the right spot. And I also need to tell it to update the strings. So, use string is, I need to look through here because I pre-cache all these things ahead of time. So that way it doesn't have to continually call back and like look up the string or anything like that. So, my favorite equipment, big top breakfast. So true. What is it? I swear I had these in here. Maybe they're not baked into... Ah, there it is. This one. So, char use strings is that, but our use string needs to be... Where is that? Gulp. Maybe I don't have it in here. Okay, maybe I need to add that in actually. LOL. Okay, that's fine. Not missing it, right? I'm not missing it. So I have to put things over here on the right in this language file. The idea is, since I have everything in this section over here, I can export this as a file and send that to like a translation company. And they will be able to just go through and mess with the text in the game to translate it and localize it. So I think that is neat. Yeah, double checked, it's not there. And I'll need to refresh the menu really quickly since I updated it. Wait, whoops. Gotta reset the dialogue. And now... Oh, now it's erroring out. That's so cool. Unable to convert string? What do you mean? Where? 397 in draw 64. That's not draw. 397. Okay. Oh, because I didn't actually put it in. Code might actually work if I do that. I think that's right. Go back here. Oh, huh? Maybe it's 5 then. Struggles of code can never go a day without it. That's true. Or if there's an item that only decreases everyone's HP if used. Well, the issue with that is that, why would you ever use it in the first place? Oh, whoops, I forgot I made that window small. Maybe I can limit the size. Can I do that? Edit transform. Whoa. Humongous. To 480 by 270. Get down there. Does that actually adjust right now? Oh yeah, there we go. That's so helpful. Okay. Collector's item. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's the possibility. There was some talk in the Discord about maybe doing a devil's food cake to complement the angel food cake, and that one would basically it'd be like something that would heal a lot, maybe, but except if you're Yui, and then it wouldn't. I need to move that. There we go. What if that item were given by an enemy as a trap for when gluttony temptation activates? You know, that's not a bad idea, actually, now that you mention that. I actually hadn't really considered it. The only issue I see with that immediately is that you could always burn a turn to like trash the item, but like I don't know if I actually want items that decrease HP. Like I know I have that functionality in there for Kaguya items, I guess, and like I like the idea. I actually haven't implemented any Kaguya only items though, because there comes a problem where, like, I think worst case scenario is it clamps your HP. Like, it can't actually kill you, it can just damage you a certain amount. Maybe it would be the way to go about it, because say for instance, like, I have this peanut butter cracker, but they're poisoned or something, and I use it on main character who's at 1 HP, and now I've game overed in the pause menu, like in a pause menu. What happens then? Like, from a how is the game going to function properly thing, like, it could work, but it would definitely have to be clamped off at a certain value. So what if you could cook food? You can, by technicality. The smoothie store does more than just do smoothies, even though it doesn't really say that it does. But items like the cupcake and cup cobbler are technically baked goods, and you blend them at the smoothies thing. I do think one thing I might do is rebrand Green Sun Smoothies in Demo 5. I was thinking of rebranding it somehow to maybe make it like more apparent that it's like the Angels and Demons equivalent of like Zest Teas in Paper Mario or something like that, or Taste Tea, Zest Tea, whatever their all names are. I thought about doing something like that because I don't exactly like limiting it to smoothies, but I do want that to be like the focus. So it'd probably just be like Green Sun Smoothies and Snacks or something, or Green Sun Treats. I'm not really sure. It's like kind of LOL. So I haven't really thought too much about it just yet, how I want to restructure that, but it is something I want to do. But so this is working right now. Does it change these things? Yep, we're so retro there. Oh, that's That's a wide string. That's actually easy fix. Hold on. I can just text.wrap and we'll do about 300. I mean, I don't like the line spacing with it, but what if there's an area where you can only get one copy of one item? By that, do you mean like all the item stacks are forced to be one, or that there's just one item that you can only get one of in that specific place in the entire game? There's only one item of it in the entire game. There's a possibility that I do something like that. I'm not sure exactly what the item would be just yet, but it is something I've thought about. I don't like the idea of non-renewable items. So it would be basically this specific item you would only be able to get at that one location, basically. Like, that's the only renewable source in the whole game of that one specific item. You know, for like completionist's sake or whatever, or just for sake of re-experiencing certain things. Like, technically that exists in both Demo 3 and Demo 4 with the Night Core and Day Core items, because those, they could only be obtained in Boss Rush. Like, technically you could get them in the overworld in Demo 3, and that you purchased them from a shop in the Dream World that was just there. It's like, oh hey, here's like post-game content. But in Demo 4, I think you got a Night Core and a Day Core in like each Boss Rush scenario, as long as it wasn't a refight. Because the refights give you a set inventory that you might actually have when you're at that point in the game, as well as equipment and stats and whatever. But the X fights give you a set inventory. Night Core and Day Core speed up and slow down the game respectively. So like, I can actually do that in game real quick. So Night Core makes everything move a lot faster, and you get like the little anime speed lines. Day Core makes everything move slower, and it did have a vignette effect that came in, but I think I'm removing it because I kind of don't like it that much anymore. Like, I need something that's a little bit more performant. But and then here's what it looks like normally. So yeah, like you would just have those items and you'd be able to use them in battle to trigger Night Core or Day Core mode, because not only in battle, not only does it speed everything up, but Night Core increases the damage you deal too. And Day Core, I don't think I have it set to decrease damage, but it might, I don't remember. So I have the menu for equipping stuff ready now. All that needs to be done now is just when you hit this button, the Let's Equip It button, it needs to actually equip the item and update everything over here on the right and update your stats and whatnot. So yeah, I could actually just look at the item description real quick. Oh, it has a dash in it. Oh, maybe I removed it already. Whoops, never mind. I guess it'd be in the fuel battle damage. Oh, yeah, it just multiplies damage based on the speed that it's going. So Night Core would increase it by 25%. Day Core would decrease it by 25%. In Demo 5. In Demo 4, it would have been Night Court increases it by 50, and Day Court decreases it by 25 in percents. So that's what it would have done. But now it's just a flat multiplier. So if there's ever like if there's ever a scenario where a boss just like slowly makes the game go a little bit faster or a little bit slower, that'll reflect in the amount of damage that you do or take. So now I gotta think, what things do I have here? I gotta remember my variables. Slowing the game down to 1 would actually be incredibly unfun, I think. Trying so hard not to sleep. I'm actually debating on trying to knock out a block of time earlier in the day to be able to stream. At least earlier in the day for me. Like, I was thinking like 10 to 12 Eastern, maybe. I'm not really sure if that's feasible. What did you just hear? Probably me doing this. Hitting my face with my fingers. Because I can make crazy noises. Wild prizes got me thinking of the Samsung sweepstakes. No, Spamton sweepstakes. Oh man. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of what variable am I looking for? I think I'm looking for... Yeah. Current item. Let me double check that. Yeah, that gives us the item ID of whatever we're at. So that means down here, we need to say we are equipping current item on current player and unequipping. Actually, this might be handled in here already. Maybe not. That should work. And then we just do... What does this actually return? Yeah. Gear and current player. This should theoretically be all that is needed. And then we just say our state is equal to... Or not state, but this is equal to this. This is equal to this. And this is equal to this. Now that should work, but it's probably actually gonna like not work by technicality. Yeah, because I don't have things put in here properly. 801. So this is where I'm actually gonna have to do things in here because this code is old code to an extent. Let's see here. We have a get gear. Every so often you have to take out a cigarette and smoke it. We do not smoke here. I will, however, take my can of Dr. Pepper and sip it. I really should be a brand ambassador at this point, but let's see. Gotta change up this track. Show. Give me something to rock with, please. Fort Francis. Okay, I'm fine with this. Okay. HP Soda Addict. It's true. It's very true. One thing I guess I can do here is, let's see, where's our equip thing? Let's actually check here if this is equal to this, then we don't do anything. Even though this is kind of like unequipping. Actually, this would probably need to go in a different spot than here. Just not even go into this menu in the first place if we already have that item equipped. So there we go. And we'll just say, play a stomp sound. That's what we need. Okay, well, that's not checking properly, is it? LOL. Banana. Okay, that's not working the way I want it to at all. Great! Wonderful! What is this actually... Wait. Is this whole thing breaking on me? I don't even know. This should be returning something like... Let's see. It should just be returning an item ID. That's what I want. However, it is not. It's not getting what I'm actually looking for. Oh. Because it's getting like the whole item. Does that do what I want it to do? There we go. Okay. It was getting more information than I knew it was getting. No freaking wonder it wasn't working. Okay. So we just do that, then maybe it actually sends something through. No. Function cannot be resolved. Okay, that's fine. This is where I need to actually close the game out and like make some changes. Bro, a cookie would be crazy right now. Those like, I love some sugar cookies. I like sugar cookies, I like snickerdoodles, and oatmeal raisin. I like cookies like an old person. So actually, I think what I want to do here is, since I need to factor in base stats now. Okay, Unk. Man, I've been had. Get free cookies from work about every week. Lucky. Actually lucky. But I think what I want to do here is whenever we actually unequip an item, I might just redo this whole like chunk of code here for the equipment stuff. What I think I want to do is just have it re-ping all of the stats and factor all of that in. It might be slow, but I think writing something new might be preferable. Only thing I need to do is comment out some things here. Do unequip item. Yeah, okay, so it's just these two things. So we'll do make a new function, refresh gear. And then we're gonna tell it what gear we want to add. I think I'm trying to like think of this, how I want this to go before I start writing all the code for it, instead of just like doing something and then realizing, oh wait, it actually sucks. So let me think here, because I need it to it's probably going to end up refreshing all the code anyways, because the idea is that since there can be gear that will factor in your base stats and your equipment stats need to be two separate values. So I think we can just do refresh gear, and then we will do we'll just send in the item ID. Should be fun. And these two things, make a new function here. I'll make this a little bit bigger too for the stream, I guess. Might be a little bit easier to watch for anyone actually interested in seeing the code. Refresh gear. And then if our item that we're equipping is -1, then we're just refreshing the gear. But if not, we're going to make a replacement. We shouldn't ever have to equip multiple items at once, except in boss rush, and then it's just like, whatever, I'll do a loop. I'll loop through and just do it manually, so that way I don't have to write a separate check for like each individual item. So now let's see. I'm gonna do, I actually can probably like reuse some of this code here from these old ones. So yeah, maybe not. Let's see. First off, I need to actually change out the gear, and that is set player gear. What does this function look like? So we give a party member. Oh, that's what I'm missing from this, is I need to tell it what party member to. So there we go. Player item, and then "10 hours of school every Monday" is crazy, actually. No, I'm someone very interested in seeing the code. Well, I'm glad, because it doesn't seem like a lot of people actually care to watch like live coding, which honestly, like sometimes I am like iffy on doing live coding, because partly because I'm like, oh, what if I'm actually writing the most garbage code known to man, and like this is This is gonna be like my public humiliation ritual or something. Someone's gonna look in here and see this code and be like, dude, that's so trash, what are you doing? But I'm so glad I graduated early. My last year of school was too easy and boring. I also technically graduated early, but that's because I started school a year early. Fun fact. Yeah, if it works, it works. If it works, it works, but that is like, I followed that logic too frequently early on, and that's why a lot of things in the game are not nearly as performant as they could be. And definitely, I think, led to some issues. Like, I've been making some great optimizations recently. Like, I like how performant the new item menu is, because I have a lot of headroom for extra calculations and stuff. So it's just not going to lag on slower machines or anything like that, just by optimizing draw calls and whatever. I've also optimized the collision code and everything, and maybe multiplayer won't run like dirt when you have like 4 people playing. Because like, I have a pretty powerful computer, and it would still start having some struggles in certain scenarios in multiplayer. But I skipped first grade onto second, so I'm basically a smart guy. Bro's basically a smart guy. Okay, so I think what I need to do here, what I'm going to start off with is, we're going to set party member data, and we're going to say our player party dot, I think this is, I have to look. Let me see. Let's see the enumerator. Stats, equipment stats, mod stats. What did I do that for? Base stats. Okay, stats, base stats, equipment stats. Why do I have all that? What is all that doing there? I don't think I need 3 of those. Do I use this anywhere? What does this do? Get player stats. Oh, maybe I actually did like program the possibility for overhealth, and I just didn't even realize. I just sometimes forget I do things. Because this, it's like whenever we get a stat, it's gonna take. Okay, this is actually helpful for me to look at, because I would have definitely been scratching my head wondering why things are doing the way that they're doing. So that is that's the good thing. You know who else has dementia? You know who else has dementia? You know who else? Okay. No, you joke, but like, with as much stuff as in this game, like it's no surprise that I'm like forgetting some of these things. But this does help me, because I was just gonna throw I was just gonna like take these stats, like the base stats, and slap them in here as a copy. So it's good that I looked, because that does make it easier. Because then all I have to actually do is just for the equipment stats, we just set it to a new array of size, what was it here? Height. Yep. So when we refresh the gear, we just do that. Literal perfect like typo, like perfect bit to actually put a typo in. So now I think what I'm gonna do is we're gonna get party member data. This player, we're gonna get party.gear. And then we will what did I name the freaking slot enum? Oh my gosh. Tell me not real quick. Oh, it's just hard-coded. Great. That's wonderful. Why did I do that? Is it hard-coded or am I just missing it? Oh no, I definitely hard-coded it. I'm so smart for doing that. LOL. Okay. Oh well. Alright, I gotta come out of this jacket. My warm's starting to room up. My room is starting to warm up since my computer's running like a lot of stuff right now. Let's see here. Okay, back to refreshing. We're just going to repeat this for a certain amount of times, but we're gonna do it efficiently because there's no sense in checking like how many times each time. Yeah, it really does. Like when I'm actually doing like strenuous stuff as far as processing goes, my room does get pretty warm, but it's finally starting to get cold where I live, and that means I can just keep my window open a lot. I don't have it open right now because I'm streaming, but let's see, I think I just can do 4. We'll just repeat it. No, we repeat it 5 times. Repeat it 5 times, and then we do we're going to get an item here. Get item gear where we're at. So it's going to give us an array. I guess I can do array length of the gear. Yeah, that's safer. And then we will take, let's do stats is array create I think it needs to be this size, but I mean it goes to the height of it, but that also includes like not necessary things like XP level, max HP, whatever. So we'll just do it at the Lux size. And then we will do another repeat here. And then we will do repeat this, and stats J will be equal to, we're going to add these for wherever we're at. Just add them to it. And then now we'll have this stat array. And all we need to do, I actually think what I might do, I might need to change this, but oh yeah, specific colors for when the good item descriptions and bad item descriptions show up. That's what that is. It's an hex code. That's probably safer to do there. And then we can just make this height. Yeah. And J++. So now, Oh, no, they're not. That's not yellow. Good is green, and bad is red. So I like to manually unroll loops like this, because instead of doing like a typical for loop, so like for I and, you know, less than I is less than whatever, so like this. Instead of doing this and like having it iterate over, this gives a slight amount more control over it, and also is just slightly more performant. And, you know, faster things execute, the better, in my opinion. So, let's do something extra here. That's like specifically to Game Maker. Your mileage may vary in like a more, like a big boy programming language, I guess. I know it works pretty well for Game Maker, at least. I have done a lot of benchmarks in the what do you call it? The Game Maker benchmark tool, that thing. I've been testing a lot of like code ideas, and like most of the stuff that I'm doing doesn't even save like enough time, right? Like it's microseconds saved, which is tiny amounts, right? Tiny amounts. I think it's 1 million microseconds is a second. So, like, gulp. But I think for things that are like mission critical, like say, movement, collision code, right? This kind of code, this whole setup here that's like insane. This one is running like multiple times per frame, and it's running like 8 times per person, like per object that needs collision code per frame. So it needs to be performant. But like this is just to get myself acquainted with doing like loop unrolling, basically. Like this doesn't matter. I could use the method of using a for loop and it wouldn't really matter that much because it's only going to execute once. Right, and it's going to be like when you click a menu. So it's literally going to be like a few microseconds difference that actually won't matter. But for things that run very frequently, like drawing things to the screen or collision code, movement code, whatever, that stuff needs to be optimized. And that's what I've been doing a lot of. Because like I've seen how the game runs on hardware that is not exactly ideal. And it's like, I know I can do better, right? So I went on a whole spiel trying to redo things and make things work more better. And I think I finally got a lot of it into a good area that I'm ready to move on with. The only thing left to touch up on will be the rhythm game, because I don't like how I have it structured. It's like a mess of code that is impossible to read. It's impossible to add new things to, almost, because I've just built on top of like this really old system that I made before I really knew what I was doing. I want to get it linked up to the actual time of the song instead of like an arbitrary position. That way it's genuinely impossible to desync. And this is like the third time I've said genuinely impossible to desync, but you know, we'll see. On top of that, I can also make it more performant in the same process, because it does, when you load in all the note data for a rhythm game, it does kind of hitch a little bit sometimes, especially if it's a really dense chart like impurity expert or master difficulty, I guess it would be. Like impurity charts are really data heavy. And I also kind of want to like make it to where you could make your own charts, maybe like just replace game files relatively easy. Like I want to expose that to the user in some sense. So if someone wanted to go in and like you know, do their own chart for one of them in a very painstaking process. They probably could, or do what I did and write a converter to convert from Osu to angels and demons. But, trying to think, like I'm looking at this and I'm not sure exactly what I want to do here. Because I know what I'm doing right now is like, okay, we're taking equipment stats and we're resetting it all to 0. That's fine. And then we're getting the gear. So getting whatever gear we have, and we're going to make a new array to throw back into this. And this will be an array of stats. And then as we go through, we're going to look at, let's see, we're going, oh, actually, you know what? I just thought of something very, very interesting here because of the way I have this code structured. So I was speaking it out, and then it like clicked in my mind, like what's about to happen here. So these extra ones, the equipment and the modification ones, are 1-to-1 with this array. So this is HP, AP, attack, defense, speed, moxie, XP, level, max HP, max AP, right? But the arrays inside of the item master list here, like if I go to this one, for one of Kaguya's items, it's HP, AP, attack, defense, speed, moxie. There's no max HP, max AP stat in there. And that's where this would start to screw up. So I might have to, yeah, I might have to actually like manually do this. Instead of doing a loop here, we'll just do stats max HP, and we will add, wait, that's the wrong one. Yeah, we have to do like a slot hack here to get around it. Just doing something like that, which this is fine. I don't really have an issue with doing this. But it would have been nice if I could have just had it all go into one nice thing. Whoops. Okay, attack. Whoa, I double tap player stat. Cool, awesome, me. And these can be the same here, but yeah, there we go. Clever, the Osu thing. Yeah, I used to do the charts by hand. Like I used to write the code out by hand, and that looks something like the code looks like this for all of them. Like this is what a rhythm chart looks like as far as code goes. And I used a grid, and this this part of it never gets used, so it's already like using more memory than it needs to. Like this really needs to be like a list instead of a grid. Like I had the idea of storing all the difficulties in one grid and just alternating through them, and then I didn't do that for some reason, and I've just never changed it. But it's like this is the bar, this is the step, and then this is what notes show up there. And it's ugly, but it works. But I had to write the Osu thing because like I had to write the Osu thing mainly because there's no way I'm sitting there and doing that again. Like it took so much time. Like one chart, hand topping at a fourth of the accuracy that I could place notes, by the way. Like it would only go up to 16 steps instead of 64. Took me like 3 or 4 hours, which is why demo 1 only had like 3 songs, I think. 3 or 4 songs, I don't really remember. I think it was like the battle theme. It was demo 1 had the battle theme, it had versus Glatarist and versus Pepperoni, I think. The chart is naked. True, but like I want to change that and make it like more normal. Like Osu stores its charts based on like a millisecond timing, and now that I have a system that can make use of millisecond timing, I can use that and it be fine. So, let's see. How does this do things? So this automatically gets this. We just give it the ID, and it determines the slot it needs to go into. But I don't need it to run that code. So I might just like... Where's this used at anywhere else? Oh, it's not. Amazing. Okay, cool. That is helpful. See, there's also like a lot of just functions that are just now totally unused that I never needed in the first place. Like, oh, the sustainable code, you have to write all your setters and your getters and all this other nonsense that just bogs down the performance so unfathomably horribly. Like once it stacks up, the previous iteration of this item code went like through so many unnecessary steps in the name of trying to keep the code more readable, but it didn't help in the end. It was still like borderline impossible to read. So, LOL. Just steal this code. Actually, I'm just gonna steal all this code because this can just get factored into this. So, if our item is not -1, meaning we're actually passing an item in here, then we will update things here. So, access the player grid, go into the gear array, and then get our slot, and just say, hey, it's this now. Then we reset, and we're going to go through all of our gear, and we're going to add the new stats, which will get factored in to our player's new set of stats. And then after that, we're going to say this. We're going to look and see if we actually have a player, if that player exists, and then if that player exists, and there's a minor optimization I can do here now that I found out. I can actually just tell it, hey, execute that method, instead of doing a whole with statement. I found that out semi-recently, that doing this, like just using this to call this function, makes it execute this inside of the player object, instead of, like, say we're calling this function inside the item menu, right? You'd think, oh, well, you're doing this, you're going to call it inside the item menu. Nope, you are calling it inside the player. And it skips a check. It skips a few things doing the whole with ordeal, which saves just a few microseconds. Really dumb optimization thing, but it's like, LOL, whatever. But this should work now? I'm not entirely sure. But we can run it and we can see what it does. Bro is fighting the tiredness. Every optimization counts. That is very true. Like, even if it doesn't matter, I think it's just good practice to try and do things optimally if you know how to do it, right? Like, you know, if you're just starting out for the first time, it doesn't really matter that much, I guess. Like, because you might get stuck in this trap of, you know, not knowing how to do it properly, right? Like, how can you make it efficient? How can you know that you're doing the most efficient thing? Forgot an underscore there. And it crashed. Stuff like that. It's like I didn't know. I didn't know how to make it more efficient when I started. But I've watched a lot of things. I've done a lot of benchmark tests. And like, one thing that always eluded me was like bitwise operators. And that's basically, the way I understand them is when you use a bitwise operator, and I'll actually, let me think of where one is. Let me go to the metronome here, because I do think it's neat. If I go down here into the code that does the checks. So this code right here, all right, let me zoom in here, does some like bitwise shenanigans to just more efficiently calculate like some variables that are needed for like certain animations, right? For example, I'll go to the preview window here, and if I go, so the heart up there at the top, inside the pause menu and stuff like that, when it actually works properly, by the way, I should add, because I have been changing things with it, but let me use an item. So you see how the heart kind of bumps to the beat? That is controlled by these variables. All right, it's controlled by these variables, and before what I was doing was some division to see like if it was divisible by like 2, if it's divisible by 4. That's why it uses these. It's like note modulo 248, because it's like, okay, is it we would do this basically. Note mod 2 is equal to, or note mod 2 is 0. So it's this kind of code right here. This is what it did before. And if you don't know, computers are just not the best at doing division on like a very, very low level. Like it's not that, well, it's not that they're bad at doing it. It's just that it takes a lot more processing power than you might think it does. So how can we get around that? Well, all this is in powers of 2, so we can use bitwise operators to do some checks. So we can look to see if it's divisible by 2. If we do this, if this is not true, then that means it's divisible by 2. If this is not true, it's divisible by 4. This one is divisible by 8. This one is divisible by 16, which would be every beat. This one, it's divisible by 32, so every second beat. And then this one just does a simple, like these two are simple equivalency checks. So if we're on the 3rd beat or the 4th beat, which is like LOL, I actually don't think this is right, but I never use these two, so it doesn't really matter. It's like, well, that's not true. No, it is right. It is right. It's just like, the way I explained it is actually kind of a little bit wrong, I guess. But this is something that runs very frequently. Every frame of the game, it will start up a while loop, and it's going to go through and it's going to sync up some timers each frame that like gets checked based on the position of the current song, right? So this is something that runs very frequently, right? This is something that actually needs to have these kind of optimizations into it. So, because since it's something that runs all the time, the less processing overhead it can do, the better. And like, it was such a minor difference. I ran it in like the benchmark thing, and it was like, it was maybe a difference of like, running it 300,000 times, right? Comparing it to the old one, it saved over 30,000 times of running it, right? Like that's not 30,000, 300,000. It's 300,000, not 30,000. I've said it twice now. 300,000 times across 300,000 times. Comparing it to the old code, it only saved about 2 milliseconds, which, you know, isn't that much. It isn't that much, but is it gonna run 300,000 times on one frame? No, it's not. However, if it were, for some reason, if it needed to run that many times on a frame to catch itself up with wherever we are in the song, right? Say we have a really, really long song, and it needed to run 300,000 times, it could run all of that code, theoretically, And not lose 60 FPS and not drop below 60 FPS. Theoretically. I wouldn't absolutely swear to it because like I said, I only tested this stuff. But, you know, there is the possibility. Because, you know, there's a few other things in here that it has to check. Like, it goes through and it checks, like, oh, do we need to change the BPM? Do we need to enable key eye time? Or let's go through and let's check and see if there's anything that absolutely needs to stay synced to the music and do its code. And then we add the incrementer here, which keeps the loop going and keeps it from going infinitely. So, stuff like that. But that's a rabbit trail. back to the problem at hand, which is making equipment work. So actually, yeah, I remember what I was doing now. I went and changed the thing. Let's see if it actually equips things. Okay, well that menu's gone. Where'd it go? What? Huh? Where'd it go? Okay. So it is actually equipping it. I don't know if you can hear, but I can't go into these menus now. I can't go into those menus now because it is equipped, it's just not displaying it. I am forgetting to do that. So for that, this is where I'm gonna have to reference some of this code here. So this is what, yeah. So let's see. We'll just, after we do this and here, we will rebake this here. So this would be, yeah. This actually needs to change too? No. That's not right. It does need to be like that. Okay. Ah, there it is. Yeah, AP went up. Let's see. It did not update our display again. That's where this needs to happen as well. I don't have an issue with copying and pasting this code. There's not really any point. So, in trying to do something special with it. So let's... Okay, we're getting an error. What are we getting here? $808. Gulp? Oh, so something's happening in there that's not right. Oh, wait. Duh. Okay, there, work pants are equipped. Cool. Old scarf. Turtleneck. Yeah. Alright. And so now, I just need to figure out why that is going off there. So if I go... Oh, even if I go out of it, it doesn't. What? What is the name of that one? This song literally woke me out of my jeepers. Bro, this is one of those songs that I'll hear and then it's just like immediate lock-in. It's right here, this one. Yep. Okay. Which of these? Okay, so this right here. We're on stats X plus XX. Oh, I'm not setting the offset back. Okay. That's what it is. So EQ offset is 0. Let's try that now. It doesn't need to be 0. What does this get set to? Anyways. 282. Okay. Magic numbers. Dude, they're gonna put me on a freaking... They're gonna put me on fraud watch like, like pirate software. Something screwed up, I think. What screwed up? Show me the screw up. 808 again? For why? For why? Mario and Luigi boss songs tend to have that effect. That's true. Bowser's Inside Stories boss themes will get me, like, woke up. I do like Dream Teams as well. Dream Team's got really good ones. Funnily enough, despite my absolute love for Partners in Time, I don't think, like, and maybe it's just where I've listened to it so much, but it's not that high up on the tier list for me, honestly. Like, if I'm being honest, Brothership is probably one of the weakest in the series in terms of OST, but, you know, I'll give him some slack. It's a new composer. It's not Yoko. It's not Yoko Shimomura, but, like, it's, I forget the name of the composer for Brothership, but he worked on some other games too that were pretty big. Yeah, I do like, there are a few that I do like from that game. I have them in like a separate playlist that's like B-Wave files for infinite looping. Like the battle theme, boss theme, mid-boss, whatever, they're okay. Like I'll listen to them. They're not bad. Lot of Coins Island is really good, and I do absolutely love Ship Shape Island. Like, I didn't like it at first. I kind of thought it was a little bit annoying, but then it grew on me so much during the game, because it kind of has this like effect of of a familiar, friendly song that, you know, you hear when you're back at basically the hub world, and then like the switch up in late game where it changes, I was like, oh my gosh. Dude, like, Brothership genuinely made me cry. Oh my gosh. It was actually such a good game. I'm so glad the series is back, but... like... Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna actually have to restart to see exactly why this is crashing, because GM Live, like, will spit some stuff out in the console, but it doesn't tell me what the error is sometimes. This is off topic, but have a listen to Die of Death OST. I have no clue what that is, but I will try and remember to do that off stream. Game just needs a boss arena. Yes! Yes! Oh my gosh. Like, no repeatable boss rush literally keeps Brothership from being, like, almost a perfect game for me. Like, I think, like, for me, it could have been a 9 out of 10. Because, like I do have a few gripes with it. I won't shy away from voicing my opinion on it just because it's Mario and Luigi, right? But, oh, that time it just worked. Okay. Interesting. It didn't crash. What did I do differently? Now. Okay. There it is. Okay. Something with a script. Something with a script. This is where it's freaking out. So, that's fine. That's helpful. That is helpful. But yeah, like, I think the game's like an 8 out of 10. If it had a boss rush type thing, because like to my understanding, boss rushes were like a staple of the series past Bowser's Inside Story, right? Bowser's Inside Story had one, Dream Team had one, Paper Jam had one, but then like I don't think there was a boss rush on the Superstar Saga remake, which is a crime. I might be wrong on that, so If I am, feel free to correct me. But, you know, the Bowser's Inside Story remake obviously had to have it. But Brothership not having one and only having those, like, oh, there's this really strong enemy that you can go out and fight, was just kind of like, all right, yeah. And that was fun. I even made the game intentionally more difficult for myself. Like, when I seen that you got gear from, like, doing the challenges, and you could probably look back on the live streams that I did of the game, and see, like, exactly when I realized that, and just like, okay, you know what I'm doing? I'm unequipping everything, and I am doing this first. Like, I'm gonna play the game vanilla, like, no gear or whatever. And I'm kind of glad that I did that, because it actually made the game kind of challenging. Up until I actually got that gear, and then I started using gear, and then it was like, it was really easy. Like, I don't think I was over leveled or anything. I didn't feel over leveled, but I mean, the game did feel really easy. Same with DK Bonanza. DK Bonanza felt really easy, and like, I won't talk spoilers about that. I think that was the game that was anti-spoiler last stream that I did, but to me, it was a very easy game. I was able to, I beat it in one day. Granted, I played for 16 hours straight pretty much, but I did beat it in one day. Let's see, what are we getting here? I think I actually need to go in this and look at the check gear function here. Set tops, we get gear. Okay, so this is what we need to do. Get item. Like, Bonanza, don't get me wrong, Bonanza is a really, really good game. Like, it's genuinely phenomenal. Best 3D platformer I think I've ever played. Right? It blows Odyssey out of the water to me. The movement is just so freaking nice. Like, I'm kind of sad that the DLC doesn't look that interesting, because they announced DLC for it in the most recent direct, and like, it just didn't look that interesting to me, honestly. So I haven't got it. But like, the movement is just so good. Like, if they wanted to add in like an extra, like, what do you call it? If they wanted to add like an extra, like, whole underground area DLC thing, like, I think I would get that, because they want to do like a difficult thing because like the game was just easy. Then sure. Like, wait a second. What is actually happening here? Hold on. Where is this freaking out? This is freaking out inside. It's on 998. But yeah, like, Bonanza, honestly, really good. Probably like an 8.5, 9 out of 10, something like that. Story was like really, really, really good. I liked how they set it up. Loved the ending. Loved the ending of the game. I cried. But like, I don't know. I definitely recommend checking it out, like, as soon as possible. Oh, that's rough. That's rough, but it's like I was big on Crockwatch when like leading up to Bonanza, like all the theories on like, oh, the Kremlings are back. The Kremlings are back, and like It was so cool. It was so cool. Like, I do have the theory that maybe K. Rool and like some of the other Bonanza characters will come to Mario Kart World. So, like, I want to believe, but it seems like Nintendo's just letting World kind of fester a little bit and just giving it some quality of life stuff for a little while. Literally in game design class while I'm doing this, let's go. Let's design video games together. I'm just gonna like dump this array out and see why it's crashing. Specifically. Working with Unreal, that's literally Unreal. Hop on Game Maker. Pretend you're a video game Bob Ross. Oh shoot, how would I even do that? I can't I can't think of any way to like do that without like in my mind I would sound like a diet pirate software. And I don't know if that's what I want to really do there. Okay. This like freaking out beforehand? On 1000. Hold up. I mean, it should have been right here. Or maybe I'm setting the item improperly. Surely not, because it displays properly. I got mentioned in class. Wait a minute. Let's go. We're name dropping angels and demons. Oh, wait, there it is. That was that there before? I swear I didn't see it. It did dump an array of undefines. What the heck? Okay. That helps actually a lot, I think. Popping out at the two hour mark. I appreciate you dropping in. Hope you enjoyed. Let's see. So if this is just undefined, that means this is not right. And if this is not right, something here is also not right. So what is this doing? That's returning get item. So we don't need this? But this is what it was before. Actually, what do these things do here? Ignore comments. Show me. Where this actually gets utilized here. Is it just here? It really is just here. Okay, so maybe instead of doing this, I feel like I don't have enough screen real estate for all this. I guess I can move this out and over maybe to this one. Oh, we got two equipable scripts here. Awesome. How much for you to say wishlist Angels and Demons on Steam right now in class? Would you do it for a Scooby snack? This is the kind of activism that I can get behind. Tell your classmates, tell your buddies, tell your coworkers to smash that wishlist button for Angels and Demons on Steam, and smash that subscribe button on the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Smash that like button so the stream gets suggested to a bit more people, and smash that follow button if you're watching over on twitch.tv/Journoid. Where does this ever even get used? Does this even get used anywhere? Don't think it does. Scooby Snack will be accepted. Let's go. Well, this... I think what I'll do here, mayhaps, is... we're going to simplify some code, because we don't need to be doing all this, apparently. So, because all of this is just referenced here. So, what we'll do is just fix some things up here. We're going to repeat for... let's see... 5 times, I think. 0. Get rid of all this. And do an I++. And... let me think with my mind. This doesn't need to be here anymore, so... this returns an item anyways. We get the item for this, which should theoretically just be an item ID. And we're just going to see what this does. And then in this, it should actually just work. And then, what is this? Why is there a duplicate of this code? What is this in? Oh, this is in the freaking update thing? What? Yeah, I'm actually working on the game. Can you believe it? Can you actually believe it? I actually don't know why this is here. I don't think this needs to be here. Maybe I can get away with just doing this. Because this is going to get updated anyways. I'll comment this out. Again, we're using magic numbers, but whatever. We don't really need to put anything, we just need to tell it that it's not a function that can be called. Minor optimization that also doesn't matter because it's only called once in the whole game. So now, back onto this. What caused me to lock in? Pokemon Legends CA? Definitely not. I've not heard a single good thing about that game. Honestly. Like, everything I've heard about it has been really, really bad. I'm not a big Pokemon guy anyways. The last one I played was Moon on 3DS. Sword and Shield didn't really appeal to me that much. And neither did Scarlet and Violet. Or Legends Arceus. Or Legends ZA. But I don't know. I personally have not heard very many good things about it. Like, it seems like it has the same issues that the other ones did. in regards to like performance and stuff, which like, you know, I get it. Like, you know, you're developing for the Nintendo Switch. Like, it's not like an incredibly powerful device by any means, you know? However, it's like the Switch also managed to run Zelda Breath of the Wild and Pikmin 4 and Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in full... Well, okay, wait. Breath of the Wild was not full 1080. But regardless, those games looked good and managed to hit their target frame rates and everything and not have some of the issues that the Pokemon games have. And I don't want to like... don't get it twisted, because I'm not saying like the devs suck or anything. I'm sure they actually are capable of doing some great work. But if you think about how how frequently Pokemon games come out, it's like it kind of makes sense that they'd start to suffer for it. So only heard bad things about it. Textures, locking megastones behind PvP. Yeah, you can't 100% the game either, to my understanding. You just can't 100% it if, let me think with my mind. If you don't have Switch Online, essentially. So... Oh, wait, I see. I understand what I'm doing now here. Need to actually look at my inventory code. Where did that go? I'll just open it again. Item, master list. So anything that actually has a function also is able to have variables with it too that go into it. Arguments. Let me think. Temperance, yeah. So it's like it's got the function and then it's got arguments if needed. So... Game Freak is being slammed with bad deadlines, not to mention leadership changes and recent leaks for future games. And I think this game was made by the same team behind Legends Arceus. Yeah, like, that's why I'm not going to hold it against them. Like, it's definitely a management thing, so much, like, more than it is a devs thing, because I'm pretty sure only, like, 75 people work at Game Freak. And if the leaks are to be believed for some of that stuff, which, honestly, I'm believing them, because, holy... There's so much stuff there. That means that the team that is working on Gen 10 right now is also working on Gen 11. Like, they're working on both of those at the same time. And it's like, dang! Locking megastones behind online seasons is stupid. Yeah, like... that's like isn't that like what the whole thing Stop Killing Games was about, is like keeping things like running after like online goes down. But what happened to Handcam? What happened to Handcam is I got a standing desk, and because I have a standing desk, it's harder to get the Handcam in a position to work good, and also I don't really have the real estate on the stream overlay. So did I put that in the wrong spot? Excuse my language on this Christian stream. Excused. Let's see, what am I looking for? This can go, this can also go. This can go here. Pokemon is at a point where they're focusing on quantity over quality, and out of those 75 or so devs, they are split into 2 teams. I mean, still, like, I just expect more from, like, a huge dev team like that, you know? But... Good night, Vexility. Thanks for hopping in. Hope you enjoyed. But yeah, like, it's just, there's not going to be much of a change if they're still making money, because I think the previous games had like a 10 or 20 million dollar budget and probably made like 8 times that. So if they're like if they're making like profit like that, it doesn't matter. And that's not even counting whatever they make on merch. So it's like, LOL. Like, what do you do? Let's see here. I actually think I might cheat here and just, if live call member type number return live result. Most profitable IP on the planet for a reason. I mean, yeah, like, what do you even do at that point? Bro is dying for some gaming. Let's see. Does this work now? I'm gonna like I'm just gonna pipe this through live stuff. So now I'll just make a small change where I say, hey, show me what's in this. Show me what this is so I know what I'm working with. And now it won't crash because it's in GM Live, which is just like the fancy try catch block, I guess. And what does this do now? Script index must be a number. Oh, so this is like an array in an array. Gosh. So this needs to be like num 0. Is that right? Okay, can we try that again? No. Index out of range. Oh, wait. Let's do this. What are we getting here? Show me the thing. Oh, wait, that time it actually worked, I think. Hold on. Go to the end here. Don't interrupt me with pause events. The runtime error index -1 out of range. How are we -1? Haven't played ZA. I'm just salty I don't have a Switch 2. Yeah, I like... I'm sure I've told the story, but like, I was like, let me think. I was up till 1 AM for pre-orders. Because, like, I knew I wanted to get one. And I had the money at the time, like, the spare cash. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try and do it. It's like, I'm just a Nintendo guy, you know? Oh, I'm dumb. It needs to be I think. Let's try it again. No, borked. Why are we borked? Can I see this? I love debugging! Wait a second, huh? What? Gotta actually think with my mind now. Let me dupe this. Heard it's the original Switch version that's not optimized, which makes sense because of the massive difference between Switch 1 and Switch 2. Like, that's one way of looking at it, but at the same time, it's like, why even launch it on Switch 1 if it runs so poorly? Like, they had to have known that it runs that poorly in testing and could have just, like, axed some stuff anyways, right? What's my opinion on Game Maker and the company behind it? That's actually a great question. So the company behind it now, like, I still think it's the original team of Yo-Yo Games, but they did get bought out by Opera. I don't really care for Opera as a company, but the Game Maker devs are all really cool, especially in their Discord server, like, which, if I understand correctly, is community ran. But they're all, like, most of the devs for the engine itself are actually in that Discord server, and you can just go in there and like ask them questions or chat with them about like the beta or the next runtime and stuff like that, and they'll answer the question and be like, oh yeah, it's this, or this is what we're doing, or whatever. And it's really cool. I do actually like them. And the engine itself, like, it's not perfect, I'll say that, but it is great for beginners. Like, it's really, really good for for actually getting into something, right? Or for getting into game dev, I should say. It's really good for getting into game dev. You can prototype things in Game Maker really, really, really quickly, I think. Like right now, like I have a plugin called GM Live, and I can just like save and reload my code and see, like, I'm trying to debug this this thing here, and I'm trying to debug this function just to kind of I'm like trying to think and talk at the same time. It's not working. I'm able to debug this in real time, basically, with this neat little plugin. So it's great for iteration, and they are working on like a new runtime thing that's supposed to fix a lot of long-standing issues and also be incredibly more performant. So I'm anticipating that. They said it's supposed to come out sometime, or it's going to come into like a closed beta, I believe, maybe. Well, I mean, I guess it is kind of an open beta right now. You can run it now, but like it's very, very early alpha. So, but they're supposed to be working on like getting this new runtime out, which has like major performance improvements over others. Will I choose Game Maker over other 2D engines like Unity or Godot as an experienced dev? Also can't wait for the new runtime. I can't wait for it either, but honestly, it really just comes down to preference. Like, Game Maker is really good for making 2D games, like, because that's just what it was built for, and it's been that way for a long time. So everything in-game, like in Game Maker, is just kind of like structured around, yeah, you're gonna make a 2D game. Whereas Unity and Godot, to my understanding, are more, they are more 3D centric. Like, yeah, you can still do 2D in them, and it's a lot easier to do 2D in Unity or Godot than it is to do 3D in Game Maker, for what it's worth. So, like, it really, at the end of the day, just comes down to preference. Like, I chose Game Maker because, some 5 years ago or so, almost 6 years ago, I guess, I was playing Pizza Tower, the Sage demo, and I was like, dang, these physics are awesome. When I start getting into game development, I want to use whatever engine they're using for this. And that was Game Maker. So that's just kind of what I started with, and I've ran with it ever since. But, like, you know, if you have experience in Unity, or there's like some specific case on either of those engines that just directly sticks out to you. Like, maybe the open source aspect of Godot is something that you're like more leaning towards messing around with. Like, maybe you program your own stuff into the engine, like the actual application, I guess, the editor and everything. Or maybe you already know a language like C# or something like that, because Unity and Godot can use those languages. Game Maker, unless you write your own DLL file for it, like your own extension, can only do GML in the current runtimes, at least. GMRT is supposed to like let you do JavaScript, and I think they said they're eventually going to throw in one of the C languages, but I can't remember exactly which one it was. I want to say it was C#, but don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. Okay, this is like... Hold on. Show me. Cross necklace. What are we airing out here again? We're on 13. Index is out of range. 13. I guess it's in this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One of these? Probably this one. I mean, I think that's right. What is... Script index must be a number. So I have an array. So give me 0, right? That's what I want. Hold on. Let me relaunch the game. Let me like see what Game Maker itself has to say about this instead of instead of GMLab. It was C++ if I remember correctly. Also, what are some Game Maker plugins besides GMLab you recommend? I definitely recommend just checking out the stuff by Juju Adams and Offline, like the input library and Scribble. I use those in Angels and Demons to handle a lot of the text and input, all the input display, but also a good chunk of the text display. It just makes it a lot easier to handle like rebindable controls. Input does. It lets you do rebindable controls, hot swappable controls. So like if I was to pick up my Pro controller or GameCube controller or something and just start messing with it, it would just work pretty much. And everything just is a lot easier with it. And then Scribble is a really good like text engine. So like all the text that you see down here, let me actually make this screen bigger while I'm doing this. So all these items and stuff are displayed using Scribble's whole engine and everything. It's actually, to my understanding, more performant than the built-in text drawing functions. And you can do like cool effects like baked into it. Like this like text over here on the right is red and green, or if I go into the item menu here, I can have some that have this wavy effect and a rainbow gradient go through, and it's still like more performant than the baked in engine to my understanding, because it uses like vertex buffers and stuff. And it's really cool, and they're both free. And they're still actively maintained, they still get updates and everything. Like it's just awesome overall. Honestly, there's a few others, like if you wanted to do Discord rich presence, there is a few for that. I believe the one that I use in Angels and Demons is called Neko Presence, and all it does is just let you connect to a Discord app and handle like showing play status inside of Discord. Relatively easy. You just have to like tell it like, okay, I have this string of text. This is what I want to throw onto the Discord status, and I want to use this icon and whatever. And it's just really nice. Those would probably be like my top 3. But if you have the money to spare for getting GMLab, it's such a game changer, especially when doing user interface stuff, because you can prototype even faster. I love Scribble. What software do you use for your art? It looks super good. Thank you. I appreciate it. I use Asaprite. I use Asaprite for basically every bit of the art in the game. Occasionally I'll use Paint.net just for some effects on like some bigger textures, but like 9 times out of 10, or more like 99 times out of 100, it's gonna be Asaprite. Throat's getting a wee bit dry. Had to get me some Dr. Pepper. I mean, HP soda. What is this actually doing here? Let me, like... this is an array. And then this becomes further down. Okay, so this should have worked. This is the script. This is the script right here. Because this is the third one. And that is equip temperance. That is a script. Script exists on this one. Which means that we need to call this with... Actually, let's get the arguments. I'm going to do this differently here. Is callable EQ array 0. Bro, I'm not touching my phone. I am not, we're not doing live calls on stream right now. Heck no. I have to like double check my equipable scripts here. Take info, member, and then it would be arguments. Just need me to send everything on it, everything you would need for making a game, money as well. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Don't send money. Okay, well, the really cool thing about that is Game Maker is free. Game Maker is free. Asaprite's free if you're determined because it's open source. You can compile it from source. Otherwise, it's $20 normally, I think. You can use free music software like LMMS is free and alright, I think. Otherwise, I recommend FL Studio, of course. But like, if you just need like a programming IDE thing, like a game engine, and something for pixel art, then like Game Maker and Asaprite. But Asaprite's on Steam too. I don't know if Game Maker is still on Steam. It might be, but I actually have no idea. I'm gonna do the same thing down here. This is where the code gets like super spaghettified for this. And comment these out. And then we'll just call that like that. It's such disgusting code, but you mean the answer to my question was a Google search away? Yeah, but you didn't get the interaction of like speaking to the Journoid live on stream. And yes, tracks that are currently unreleased or for Demo 5 currently are just listed as ID with a random number for obscurity. Bro, you know what? Alright. There's your link. There's your link. I actually don't know if that's sent in both chats. Oh well. There's your link. Download Game Maker. And then if you don't want Asaprite on Steam, there you go. There you go. Asaprite, buddy, I will take my advertising cut now. I actually don't think, because if script exists, then this is just like, you know, do the thing. That's a redundant check there. Gulp. Now I think this will work the way I want it to work. Methinks. Let's run it. Yeah, it's like it's a those who know. I mean, I have teased it in the Discord, but I don't know if I said what it is yet. If I did, it's just for padding out the inevitable what's it called? Patreon secret teasers thing. So, whoops, there we go. Do it crash? Oh, it still crashes. Trying to index a variable which is not an array. Oh, wait. I might be lol. I might be lol. I see I'm lol. I actually don't even need this variable now that I'm thinking about it. I can just do this. Make it easier to maintain, and also just do like, if this is -1, actually, I don't even need to do that. We're simplifying the code. And is it worth making this more performant here? It isn't really. Maybe I will. Methinks. Be honest, I don't know what this XP stuff is for and how I'm always in first place even though I hardly chat. XP is basically, it's just like a per stream, it's a per stream, like, who's chatting the most thing. It's just bragging rights, and it is broken because only some people are able to get XP for some reason. And I don't know, like, I don't know why some people are not. Like, I don't know if it's like oh, you have to have, like, a certain type of account or whatever. Yeah, like, Squid Vixen's been, like, chatting a lot, and is somehow only at 125, yet you're at 150, and, like, I don't know, maybe it's, like, first chatter bonus or something like that. It's on and off, or it could be, like, timing-based. It honestly makes me think of, like, bits on Twitch, almost, and how it, like, dishes things over. I'm not really sure. But I think I might now have this done and optimized and where it's going to work properly. Maybe. We're about to find out. Oh, wait. Let me hide this. That one? Yeah. Let's just see if it work. No, it still crashes. Why? Index out of range. Oh, I guess because I still need to do this. I forgot about this. If is array. We'll just do an array check. and then go through. Is this real? What do you mean you think you bummed it? I mean, I'll DM it to you on Discord. Hold on. There. Too late. I already DM'd it. Hey, there, it worked. It worked that time. Okay, it is not updating the stat display though. So I don't know if it's actually equipping or not. So, let me... 117. Wait a second. Whose stats was it displaying? Was it displaying Hector's stats? For a second? I think it was displaying Hector's stats. Yeah, now it's displaying Hector's stats. 168 or something not right at all. Yeah, not crashing is good. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Would probably help if I told it the right the right player instead of a random like, oh yeah, whatever I was last. I'm actually kind of surprised it didn't crash doing that, but error opening file for writing. Are you running it as administrator? So that's actually not updating. The display here is updating for the gear, which is good. That is what we want. And I also want to have it play a sound here. I need that feedback. Hum. Why is it not working now? If I... Maybe I just need to dump stats here. Can you just write music in a music notation software for a game? I mean, do you mean like, Muse Score or something like that? Like where it's like like sheet music? Or do you mean more like MIDI? Like make a MIDI that gets played back? Just plays back a string of notes or whatever. Kind of like a DS game or a SNES game. Yes, but you can export as MIDI. You know, Game Maker might have MIDI support, but I actually don't know. What do I use? I use FL Studio and I just export it as a WAV or an OGG. Yeah, you'd have to export it as like MP3 or something then. Something like WAV, like a .wav or .ogg is preferable because those, yeah, I do WAV. Those are preferable because they load faster, but they're not good on file size. For what it's worth. This is now... Is that what I need to put there? Oh no, it is not. Wait, maybe it is. Okay, moment of truth. Does this? It does not. And why does it not? Because it should. Yeah, for games you probably want to do like WAV if you don't care about file size, OGG if you do. Like mine get compressed down to a high quality OGG file instead of the uncompressed WAV. But like MP3, not that great because MP3 is just not good. Like it eats the quality. Blank game or blank pixel game? Is that like is Game Maker asking you for a template? I just do blank. So I actually don't know what the difference is. It's been so long since I've started a new project in Game Maker that chances are they've changed up the onboarding. Why is this not actually displaying? Because it should be showing this, which we're updating right here. Unless the gear refresh is not doing something properly. Oh. Oh no. You know, it would really help if I actually put this information back into where it needs to go. My gosh. And then this actually doesn't even need to be here, I don't think. This is not set in GM Live, so I do have to reload the game here, but... Oh my gosh, I hate doing this sometimes. It's always something stupid. It's always something stupid, but I mean, hey, what can you do? I mean, I've just been sitting here like bashing my head against the wall for the past like 30 minutes wondering why it's not showing up, but it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Let's see if it works now. If it doesn't work now, I'm gonna crash out. Moment of truth. It works. We made it. We freaking made it. Can I unequip something now? Am I finally free? Am I finally free? Okay, there is one thing One thing I'm noticing. This does need to be this variable, and then that needs to be set to something specific here, which I'm going to just try this. Where does it set this? Actually, let me just... Whip stats is what? So this is where it bakes this whole thing here. What are we doing here? So we're getting the length of our base stats. We copy the real stats from the item stats. Or we copy item stats into this real stats variable. Whip stats. Same thing. So I just need to update the item display after I do this. Update item display with our current player and our position. Methinks. Okay, that didn't work. That crashed, technically. Out of range. Range. Let's try this. Refresh it real quick. Okay, okay. I am noticing one thing. It does not properly swap out the stats here. So, like, we have the Temperate Sash right now. If I hover over the Temperate Sash, even though I can't actually unequip it, it shows the negatives there. That's correct. But if I hover over the Cross Necklace, right, it should be saying only +5 and then -5 to everything else. So, that's something that'll have to be cooked in this here. So, what should your sprite size be for characters? It really just depends on what style of game you're going for, honestly. Like, if you are wanting to do something like that looks like an NES game, you might want to go with like 32 by 32 or something like that. It really just depends, but it helps to keep it like square most of the time for character sprites. Just for hitbox reasons, though it's not required. I have some oddly shaped ones, and it's just a matter of, like, doing what you want with it. So I am going to have to rewrite this code over here. Probably a mix of NES and SNES. Okay, so... SNES, but intentionally downscaled at times. So, yeah, probably... you probably want to do like 64 by 64 then, maybe, or, let's look real quick. Writer's Resource, SNES, show me Mario World, sure. Let me grab Mario's sprite. How tall is Mario? Mario is with a mushroom. So Mario on the SNES. Let me bring a sprite in here real quick. So this Mario is 16 by 32. So he's 32 pixels tall. But that's because the SNES split the sprites up. Like, it would split sprites into 16 by 16 chunks for some of these things. So you could probably do like 32 by 32 if you were going for like, you know, SNES Mario. I'd say the same is probably true of like Ness and Earthbound or something like that. 32 by 32 should be enough. But for what it's worth, I use like 90 by 90 so I have like room to work with certain poses in my game. So it mostly comes down to preference, I guess. Just don't like blow them up and then like make the sprites really big. Like, you know, have a sprite like that should be 32 by 32 and then just resizing it to be like huge because, oh, it looks a little too small on the screen. No, you zoom the camera in game. Don't just make the sprites huge to compensate. Trust. It just won't go well unless you are going for a very, very specific style. Like if you're trying to do some Toby Fox type of stuff. So. Hold on just a second. I have to send a text. Okay. So, I think that is mostly what I wanted to get through here today, is getting like the equipping stuff working. I want to get out of this item menu as soon as I can, and now that the only thing that is left is like 1 or 2 extra sound effects and then making like this item display work properly. Like, and this one's just like me being LOL here. Like, when I wrote this code, I kind of forgot about the fact that, like, oh, when you go to equip something else over that slot, you're going to need to get the, like, difference between the two, basically. Didn't do that, as we can see, but that's something I might do off stream because it's getting to the point now where I'm probably going to have to wrap up here shortly. Let's recap real quick before I hop off stream. Today we did a few small things with the move menu to make it work properly. This was done off stream, but I did show a lot of that off. But it was mostly equipment menu, if I'm remembering. Equipment menu and some bug fixes related to it, and making it work properly and making it look cool and good. And the only thing that is left is to make the display on the right that shows the character's stats work properly, instead of just showing like what the new one should have going there. Need to make a joke about the problematic decimators, or else I have not watched a Journoid stream. True. They, hold on, maybe, do I have anything I can show about them? No, I don't think I do. Not that it isn't like crazy spoilers, but I should, since once I get this item menu done, like, my plan is to start working on some more story-based things, and they're gonna show up a lot more. The propane deprecation will show up a lot more in teaser pings and stuff coming here soon. But like, I needed to get this out of the way sooner rather than later, because some stuff is gonna have to be structured around this, like who gets key items, or you know, what equipables are where and everything like that. So I wanted to get that done sooner rather than later, but that, I think, is all I have for today. So for everyone who hopped in to watch, thank you very much for doing so. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed. If you aren't already in the Discord, feel free to join via the link in the description or on the fancy new Twitch banners that I got. I don't know if anyone has checked those out yet, but I do have some of those down there. You can join the Discord, play the demo, and a few other things from that as well. You know, be sure to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already, and follow me on other socials if you want to see some other yapping or game dev related things. I typically post stuff like that over on X and Blue Sky. But that's all I have. So again, really appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.